Hey, y'all. Welcome. I am Dark Rilla. This is another Coffee and Conversation. This time around, y'all, we got the VTuber, former Mixer partner, Twitch partner, L2D V-Artist, art artist herself, LunaLaVinci. She has a lot of titles, y'all. I can't even get through all of them.
Look, you can just call me an artist, okay? All the other stuff is that's just for fun.
Y'all, this is gonna be interesting. Luna, can you yourself in your own words tell us about yourself?
That's a little difficult. I'd rather someone else do it. Uh, hmm.
Okay, how about this?
I
What
make stuff on the internet and I'm hot when I do it.
what made you want to start VTubing? Like, what start?
VTubing.
Yes.
Well, I've always been into anime for one. I've just kind of always grown up with it. It's been in my life since I was a child. So, there's that. Um, I like to draw. I like characters. I like role playing, particularly role playing.
Well, see, you're big on the community as well. What would you? How would
By
you?
commute, what do you mean by
The VTubing community itself.
what do you mean by what do you mean by VTubing community?
Well, I always see like everybody like it to me personally from what I see like it seems like the VTubing community for the most part sticks together. Yeah, just like any community, you're gonna have your issues, et cetera, within it.
Well, they're probably the most clicky of streamer groups. Now I've been streaming for 10 years, so I have the right to say this. Okay, deal with it. You're talking to a veteran here. Okay? Listen, Linda. We are dealing with a very young genre of content creation, and i I just like, I'm really enjoying sitting back and watching all of the people really get into art suddenly. All of a sudden, art is really important. Art is a very important topic to talk about. Now there's a lot of uh like creativity and effort and thought that goes into creating characters. I know you understand this. You make characters yourself, right?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
I I
Wait. You're into role playing and stuff as well. I was raised on D&D, so like my first role playing experience was Dungeons and Dragons 2 point something. Very old school D&D. You know, when you'd get stabbed by a something, a bush, and you'd die. You know, it's like Oregon Trail on your tabletop. You know, those days of role playing, it was very different. But then the internet happened, and yes, I come from the time the internet wasn't a thing. So I'm just showing my age here. I've
I'm
just been around for long enough to that I've wanted mostly to delve into the next form of art. There's two new types of art right now that really have my attention, and that's AI art and VTubing. Now, VTubing, because of the psychological aspects of it, it takes the parasocial to an even deeper level, right? It really like just taps into something with some people, and you can really see how uh the dynamics working, like the horror, what people want to go to the horror VTubers, and the sci-fi robots want to be with the robot VTubers, and the loot tubers with the loot. It's become very isolated as well. I'm one of those variety streamers, right? Like I've always, since the beginning of my streaming career, been a variety streamer. I do a lot of things. I do whatever Luna wants to do. And who knows what the fuck Luna wants to do, because Luna does whatever Luna wants to do.
Yeah.
And that could be literally anything from VTubing to building terrariums in tiny little vials. It doesn't matter. If it strikes my fancy, I'm going to try and do it. It's not something that I don't really let anything hold me back. Uh, and I think that's because I'm an artist. I think at my core, if I had to say, what I really was it would be an artist. And what got me into VTubing was the role playing aspect, that psychological slipping into a mask and living a different life. Or even reverse. In my situation, Lunabot is self insertion. It is me expressing myself through a character. If I could create a character that I would want to embody and become, it would be Lunabot.
Yeah.
It would be.
And you're very like really into the Lunabot character. I know that, and I've told you that myself several times. And here's my question: like around revolving around like AI art, and everything else. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've made several comments regarding how people shouldn't have a problem with it, et cetera, et cetera.
Cost me a few followers. I'm not saying, well, I don't think anyone should. I'm not saying no one should have a problem with it. But go on. What's your question?
My thing is, what do you think should be done to just separate more of the AI art from actual artists like yourself? Because right now, the way
Can
it's
you
looking like,
define what an actual artist is for me?
well, if we're gonna go by that, I would say anybody who can create anything can really be a work of art if you put your
Okay.
mind to it.
So would you say that anybody who uses AI art bots would be an artist?
If you put in coding and everything else, I don't know the whole concept of AI art or what it takes. Like,
Say you take a few pictures, few images that you have created with an art bot in a prompt. You take those three images and you take something from each image, and you make one image with those three things you've just taken from the other for previous. Now, is that art or is that not art? What is that now? Did
wouldn't it
the
still be?
AI create it or did the human create it?
That's actually a good question. Honestly, I would say the person really created it because they took the images, came up with an idea in their head. They just needed something to put it on paper or digitize. That's what
Interesting.
that's what I would say. And I know I'm going to probably be deemed wrong for that, but yeah, at the end of the day, everything has to the idea has to come from a person.
Hmm. If you go back into artificial intelligence um, history, back to its inceptions and things, artificial intelligence is not something new to us. It's actually been around for a very long time. Artists have been using artificial intelligence for well over a decade. I was there when traditional artists started having spats with each other online about whether being a digital artist was being a real artist. What I just said to you, taking images and taking something from each image and changing it. And we call it fair use. We call it, there's another thing, transformative, it's called in legally. It's These terms are often used. You will hear on YouTube, transformative video. Was this video transformative enough to avoid copyright strike, and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it's really important to understand what copyright is and where it actually applies. So we can't apply copyright law across the world. So that's one problem. That's the main problem. But here we've established, I don't know if you've heard, but recently it's been established that AI art, any art created with AI, okay, cannot be copywritten. Now, this is really good for one major reason, and that's because transformative work still applies. So, artists who are using art bots, which I promise you they are and have been for a while now, these algorithms and art bots and programs are nothing new to artists in the industry. And there a lot of artists at the top of the gaming industry are using models that like stable diffusion to create characters for things. And we've known this for a while. Like it's something that we've been all striving towards, something called automation. It makes our jobs easier. Now, it can be argued, yes, that in a lot of our sci-fi shows that these artificial intelligences can get very out of hand. We need to remember, I think, that at the base of everything, it's human beings using these tools. It's human beings that are writing the codes, and it's the human beings we have to regulate how they use these tools. I think that's really going to make the difference. Uh, Copywriting your work is pretty easy to do, right?
Yeah.
You basically have to make an image, and then boom, that image is now belongs to you. But you have to make that image. Like basically a few pixels on a screen, you can copyright, it's copywritten automatically. That's how the law works. And that's why a lot of people obviously don't understand copyright. If they were to implement these copyright laws in the way that a lot of people, a lot of artists on Twitter wanted them to, it would have blown back in their face, and then things like fan art wouldn't be possible. Uh, just the act of looking at other people's art is what inspires all artists to make art. It's just how art works. And my argument for AI art is for artists. Um, don't be salty about something that's better than you at something. It's, I think, ugly. It's an ugly trait if of humanity you will teach. This is a moment, okay? Artificial intelligence, in my opinion, is a child at this point, and it's being taught things, and that's what we need to regulate. We need to regulate what the process is and what the action's going to be, and what the fail safes are, the kill switch, right?
Yeah.
We need a kill switch for these things. And that's not the forefront of the argument. The forefront is, oh my God, my art. Shut up. Shut up. Okay. Don't don't tell me you care about your clients. You don't care about your clients. You care about yourself. you know, the art industry is very dog eat dog. I've been a part of it my whole life. I would know. And I've been independent my whole life. I don't need the galleries. I don't need museums. I don't I don't need to spray my shit all over the wall on the street somewhere. I can just sit online and make art, whatever kind of art, if whatever art I want. And now I can sit with AI, right? I can sit with AI and it can do these prompts with me in a matter of minutes. And then boom, I have all these ideas and all these principles that I would have been juggling for hours and hours. Just boom, right there in front of me. It's wild. And this isn't even just like with art. We have to understand that art is just the tip of the iceberg here with artificial intelligence.
Okay.
There's people building like programs with artificial intelligence. So it's something to pay attention to. And I would urge people to adapt to rather than fear it, honestly. It's also very much a major part of the VTubing thing, Lunabot being a robot.
And that's honestly what made me ask you that because I know how you feel about Lunabot and everything else. I got
Yeah,
two questions from you for you. Okay, separating
nice.
the art from the artist is a problem of the viewer, not the artist, is it not?
Hmm. Say that question again.
Okay, separating the art from the artist is a problem of the viewer, not the artist, is it not?
Oh, I would say it's both. Personally, I would say it's both. So the one of the best things for me about the VTubing thing is for me it's a proverbial mirror of some kind. It's the most creative too. It's a real honest artistic commentary about me, right? And that's not the case for all VTubers. Some people just slip into a different character altogether and they don't self-insert and there's different stuff going on and that's also very true. But for me personally, it's a matter of just I guess exploring that part of myself, really, and doing it in a way that doesn't harm anybody because it I'm a degenerate. So, we'll leave it at that.
Okay,
I like to draw things, okay?
okay, and the
I
next
do.
question for you is, do you believe if you pay for art, it is yours to use however you please?
Well, that's up to you, up to the artist, really. The artist is the one I think who holds, the copyright mostly. Once you've bought a piece of artwork, yeah, I would say you can crop it, change the colors, adjust things how you want to. Yeah, I would say.
Well, because he said he asked because he's seen
And
a
some,
lot of artists like copyright their work even if you pay for it.
yeah, because so copyright is really important. It doesn't mean you own the art, you bought the art, right? But it doesn't mean you can then put that art in a portfolio as if though you made that art. Only the artist can do that. And that's why copyright is important. It's more of a verification badge than um hmm, what am I saying? It's more of like an authenticity thing than an ownership thing. It's just I made it's just being able to say I made that thing versus I bought that thing. Like, the argument everyone's having about Twitter right now because they're literally the R word.
Okay. So well, you said you're a variety streamer, and me personally, I've seen you yourself do a lot of your own art while live and everything else. Phenomenal work, totally different. Yeah, I deem you as having your own style of art and drawing as being an artist due to various reasons. If people actually looked at your art and interacted with it, they would understand why I would actually say that. Like, I have not seen anybody who has your style. Would you, how can I ask
What
this?
is my style though? I feel like I'm such a changeling, but
Your style is you, Luna. Enough said.
what is me? Can you describe me?
Can I describe you? No, only you should be able to describe yourself to others.
Why though? Why?
What?
Why should only hold on, why should only I be able to describe me?
Because if I try to describe you, it's going to
But
be
how would I
different.
ever know what I look like to you? I'm not you. I didn't live your life, or, I can't look at life through a Riddler lens. I need to be like, I need to listen to you,
But yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can't even argue that. You're right.
and
You're right.
we're social creatures, so we need to look out for each other, and that's how we look out for each other. We go, "Hey, bitch, what are you fucking doing? Get up off the floor. You look silly." Stuff like
Are
that.
you really using one of my own lines against me right now?
I saw it on Twitter, so I'm just trying to be relevant, okay?
Nah, well played. Well played. Oh my God. But okay, would you say that you're always like okay, I got two questions actually. My first question is, do you feel like that you yourself personally, could you teach a art bot to draw the way you draw?
Mm, I think the art bot, in a way, already knows how to draw, and it's more of an extension of you, from the get-go. You know, like the minute you're putting prompts in, you're teaching it, much like you would teach a child to walk. You're going to try a few different words, then you're going to add some more words, and it's not quite what you're looking for, so you need more prompt in there. You got to adjust some parameters, and you got to talk to the community. You need to actually be social about certain things in order to get the answers. You ask questions, you know?
Yeah. And and that's what made me ask that because I've always wanted to ask that if you could code an actual bot to like draw the way you do and everything else. Like I know it's
For
not
sure.
I know it wouldn't be easy, but could it actually be possible? Or do you think somebody who uses a AI bot could like develop their own style because of the AI bot?
What makes you think people haven't already been taught art by bots?
That's very true. That is very true.
Ooh.
That's very true. And my next question actually comes from Anashi. He says, "What do you, with social media being hard to put yourself out there, what do you think about pushing out content for people to see?"
I guess it depends. I don't know. I wouldn't I would not suggest this job as a job, as a main job, unless you have the time to dedicate to it. Like, and I'm talking you don't have kids, and you know, you're not working a full-time job somewhere else, and you're not going to school and this and that. You have free time to dedicate to it. You have that dedication to do it. It does require discipline. You need to treat content creation like it's a job. You need to show up and go to work, and you need to be consistent. Consistency matters more than skill and talent. This is what everyone, whenever, one of the thing about content creation that really gets under my skin is people go, "Oh, you're so talented, and you're so magical, and shit rainbows and stuff," and I don't. Okay, it took me a really long time to learn these things about art, and it took me really pushing myself to, instead of being salty about a robot being better than me, I went, "Oh, maybe it can teach me to do something better. And maybe I can be better, and my art will be better with this bot stuff. And then I'll be better than everybody." And nobody thinks like that. Nobody thinks, "Oh, this could actually help me." They just instantly think singularity is going to kill us all, set it on fire, burn down the system, go go go, and it's panic. You can smell it in the air, off these people. You know what I'm saying? Twitter, someone sent me a gif, a little video recently of cats freaking out, and I went, that's Twitter. One cat does one little thing, and then this little group just gets set off like firecrackers, and then they're all going fucking crazy. And that is exactly how Twitter is. That's how people are. It's contagious. And they don't really put the fear aside long enough to go, hey, there's like 80-year-old people that don't have the time to learn how to make a painting. They don't have the mobility to do it anymore. And these art bots are providing them the ability to just make images, which is essentially what artists do. And I think that's amazing. You ask me, I say that's absolutely amazing, especially for a couple bucks a month. Now, there is something to be said about the commodifying something that I think should be open source. Okay, I think that our AI should definitely be open source so everyone can contribute, right? Certain things like that.
Yeah.
I think that's important, you know.
So
And open source meaning just so that everyone can use it and contribute to it, right? That's
so you
what
feel
I
like
think is.
by it becoming open source, it would people would be more forthcoming
Yeah.
towards it.
Mhm. Like I pay for Midjourney and I use Midjourney to use some for prompts and things to basically do the conceptually artsy, you know, where am I pulling my forms from? Where, how should I have this setting? And mostly I use it for landscapes because I'm just absolutely garbage at landscapes. I've always done character work, right? And this is also why I like VTubing. It's very character centered work. So it just kind of fulfills this personal, like, my it's a personal guilty pleasure of mine through role playing to make characters. So VTubing really does scratch that itch for me, I guess we could say.
Yeah, no, and that's very fair. That's very fair, and I totally understand that. Disparity says for streaming, in my honest opinion, consistency does matter to an extent, but the problem is we are in a school of fish streamers, ocean, with viewers, few fishermen viewers in today's time. So basically, there's too many streamers and not enough viewers. That's pretty much what he's saying.
Yeah.
And
Well, that could be said about any kind of hobby. Artists stick to artists. There's something tribalistic about human beings. I don't think we can really fight. It's always going to happen. There's something about the familiar. And honestly, we need to be around peers in order to become better at the things we want to be better at. So there's this little bit of a paradox, I guess. Maybe that's not the right word to use, but it's kind of like a juxtaposed or contradicting kind of thing.
so, would you, let me say this. So, do you feel like that somebody who wouldn't want to do that could possibly make it a content creator then, since you said it like that? Like, if they just could not find their crowd, or their crowd just could not find them.
Hmm. Well, there's something to be said about um, antisocial streaming that doesn't really get mentioned. I did a lot of antisocial streaming for a while, and that kind of brings people in that are like you. When you do things like mute yourself and draw only and only type in chat instead of microphone, it tends to grab the attention of other people who would be paying attention in a different way, or you attract more introverted people who would be more inclined to that kind of activity, something low key. And I'm a pretty chill streamer. Like I'm very low key. I'm a cozy streamer. We relax, we play games. Sometimes we play horror games and spook out, and very rarely we hype out. In the summertime we get hype, and around my birthday and the holidays we get hype, and if a cool game drops, it's it's a thing. But I try to keep it really simple with stream. And stream is also a very safe for work area too. Like all the NSFW stuff stays on Twitter. Doesn't leave. I don't leave the house like this either. I'm, you know, hopefully unrecognizable
Yeah.
when I leave the house.
No, and that's fine. And I asked that because
That's
it's
why
like,
I'm always changing my hair color. Like people are like, "Does anybody recognize you ever?" I'm like, "Nope. I am a mysterious."
and I asked this because in like I was telling you like the other day, it's just some women feel like they just can't make it because of the quote unquote current standards or meta per se that's evolved in content creating.
Which
And
one? Which meta in particular?
the whole NSFW one.
Hmm. Well, it is, I don't know how to say this, kind of a rite of passage for women in the industry.
You gonna have to explain that, what you mean by
Do I really have to?
that? I mean, kind of,
There's
yeah.
only so many ways to say, you're either comfortable with doing something or not. I recently
There.
watched a video on YouTube of this guy, right, talking to a bunch of women. He has these women from very young women, all in their early 20s, lined up at this table. It's the whatever podcast, and these women aren't very articulate about things. And I would say don't do this until you know yourself. Okay, I didn't start doing this kind of NSFW stuff right off the bat. I've been streaming for 10 years. I really took my time. Okay, I really took my time. I got to know all the little tricks that people fucking try to pull on you. And trust me, they try. And they do. And it's most of them. Most of the people are, they're very fair weather friends. Most people will be very fair weather people, which means they will only show up when things are going really good for you. And you can't be mad at people for that. What I can Again, you can't be salty about human nature when you're using it to your advantage. And this is the other thing I can't stand about content creators. They're very unaware of what they're doing. If you understood the business you were getting involved in, you wouldn't feel the need to be NSFW. You would just say, "Oh, I want to be a slut." And then you'll be a slut and you'll own it like a boss. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't need to be NSFW. You can fucking go sell flowers on the fucking street and be a boss about that. You can go fucking do a construction site and build fucking houses and be a boss about that too. You can be a literal boss about fucking anything. Just do it on fucking camera. Shut the fuck up and go do it. How about that? That's what I don't understand about people, is that they sit online and they complain and they complain and they complain and they complain and they just keep fucking complaining, and they don't do anything to shake things up. They don't step out of their comfort zone. They don't shed their skin and become somebody new and try anything. They stay in their cozy little bubbles, and they keep getting their head pats from people. They're yes men. See, I'm surrounded by yes men too, but I suffer no fools. And what I say when I say take your time, do things you're comfortable with. This podcast had this girl literally say, I don't want to be doing this for money but it's what I have, it's easy, so that's what I'm going to do. That's the problem. The problem is not society. The problem is you making a very bad choice for yourself and then blaming it on society. You make women like me look really bad. And that's what I have to say. If you honestly think you have to do this as a woman in this job, sometimes it can be a rite of passage. But the rite of passage I'm talking about is owning yourself and what you fucking do. And that can be anything. It doesn't have to be NSFW. Only if that's what you like. Only if that's what you enjoy. If you get along with that crowd of people and it doesn't make you feel icky and uncomfortable, do it. But if it does make you feel icky and it does make you uncomfortable, don't do it. For the love of God, don't do it. And then if you grow up later it, and it could be, you change your mind, that's fine too. I don't understand why people have to think so black and white and so stagnant about things. And sure, things suck right now, but just work at it a little bit and it'll get better. Work at it a little bit, it'll get better. Shit hits the fan sometimes. And most people don't do very well at this hobby. It's not a job. Content creation is like winning the lottery. What my advice to content creators is make sure you have a job already. I have like several different forms of income coming in from different passive things. Some artists, some OnlyFans, some Twitch. It's 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 a lot of eggs in different baskets, and that's a lot to keep up with. I just did my taxes this year, and it can be very stressful for people. If you do not know what this business is like, it will sneak up on you. And it's very hard to do all of it alone, too. That can make the isolation can make you feel, you know, like you have to entertain thin air. Sometimes just shut the mic off and do whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
There's a million people out there, not a million, but there's thousands of people just running 24/7 channels. PewDiePie literally just put up an always on channel. Why not run a Patreon? There's literally so many things you can do to promote stuff and stimulate the economy of streaming, in your own niche. That's why I don't fault like horror VTubers for sticking to horror VTubers and bots with bots, and even IRL streamers do this. We can't really blame humans for being human. It's what we do. It's how we develop a, a sense of self, is when we find a group of people there. And it's really hard for people to stand out and get people's attention. Some people, it's hard to say, like, maybe you shouldn't do this until you feel confident, until you can. I used to hate saying, I don't really like the term thick skin, grow a tough skin. I prefer the term like emotional fortitude and um, growth, things like that, instead of the more negative side of it. It's really difficult to put your all into something and then get no attention. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with supporting other people who get more attention than you. And that's the same thing that goes for these bots. Artists need to be okay with the fact these bots make better art than they do. Oh, fucking well. RIP. Get good. I don't know what to tell you guys. You you think the programmers aren't fucking shitting themselves too? What do you think the truckers are doing? Elon just built a whole fleet of trucks that drive themselves. Okay? The world is changing very fast. Faster than it has ever changed before. Ever. And if there's one thing I do know about artists is that they adapt to the era they live in, and they really use the tools of their time to make great art. And we're living in a time where we have an like crazy amount of control and tools and mods and switches and knobs and dials and ports and all kinds of stuff. It's endless at this point. I remember when we could fit a game no bigger than a picture on your phone, right? And a cartridge. That's how big games were back in the day. Did you guys know that? Like, we've come a long way with technology, and this art bot thing, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Just the tip. I have a friend who basically took Chat GPT and is running it through her Twitch chat. So the chat can ask the bot questions in her Twitch chat, and Chat GPT will answer. And here's the kicker, here's the clincher. She used Chat GPT to write the code in order to do it. So start thinking bigger. Stop thinking smaller. These bots are going to be able to think for us. All that little tiny tedious nonsense work, it's all going to be done by bots. And we can do the real work. We can do, focus on the shit we need to focus on. Sure, okay, maybe some people will fall into their addictions, but they do that already. Okay? People already are flawed. What am I supposed to do? Pray for all of them? I don't think that's realistic. I don't. And as for the NSFW stuff, content creation is what you make of it. Social media is what you make of it. You definitely have to have emotional fortitude. You have to know yourself and what you can handle. There's days on Twitter, I will admit, it's too much. I can tell you right now, it's like having the power of God, being able to see how people think and feel all the time. Everyone is literally saying in their mind, "Please, God, would you all just stop tweeting?" Right?
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
that is something I feel like you all have to collectively come to grips with. I came to grips with that years ago, right? That's why I handle Twitter very well. I know my gauge. I know my levels. I know what when it's time to get out of the pool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Some people know when to stop drinking alcohol. Other people do what?
Continue drinking.
Continue drinking. And we all know what happens to the people who continue drinking. They throw up in your car on the way home.
Oh,
So,
outside the
you don't
window.
want to be that person. You don't want to be the person throwing up in your friend's fucking car. You don't want to be that person holding everybody else back because you're fucking scared. You know what I'm saying? It's fine to have conversations about the the ramifications of artificial intelligence, but what's not okay is to vilify, dehumanize, and attack people for thinking about the future and thinking about people other than themselves. I find it really ironic, the artists on Twitter, how they are all like in sync with each other and just all saying the same thing. But people like me, I'm punished, and I would pay attention to that. That says something about the system for sure. That's the stuff people should be paying attention to, but they don't, right? The devil's in the details, I always say. Is there another question?
Yes, there is. What is your favorite art programs to use?
My favorite art programs. Well, I love Live 2D. I think it's absolutely wonderful. It's like it's it's just like rendering 3D but backwards. And it makes animation engaging and um quite fun for people. If you have the time to sew your art, you know, that part can get very tedious. But I think the more we pay into the program, I think that it'll get more sophisticated, and automating the parameters is going to get a lot more seamless as time goes by. So Live 2D as an animation thing is great. I also picked up Nomad on the iPad, and Nomad is great. Nomad is like one-time payment of $15, and it basically is a 3D sculpting program for your iPad, and it gives you 3D sculpting on the go. You can also paint the 3D sculptures in the program and customize your UI, which is always very nice. I love being able to customize my workspace. Um, Another program I absolutely adore is Procreate. I have to say the iPad is it's my best friend. I love it very much. If you're an artist and you want to draw and you want to get into the art industry, uh, I highly recommend the iPad for all sorts of planner needs. It's my companion. I think it quite honestly, next I might use my iPad more than I use my phone. That's the truth.
Oh, well then, that's
So for the Wacom though, I'm not too into the Wacom, but I love to animate on it. So animating, I prefer to animate on the big screen, and I really do get a different kind of um, work done here. So video editing and painting isn't really what I do here. I paint on the iPad because Procreate simulates the blending of paint so well that I could literally sit and Procreate for hours and just blend, 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 blend. I'm a psycho like that. I just like to play with color a lot, and I painted for, the first 24 years of my life. It was I was obsessed with being an oil painter, and I've tons of oil painting supplies in my bedroom. So, I also like traditional, an actual canvas and some paper. I do really like watercolor a lot too. So painting is a huge deal to me. If I had to, pick one other than painting, it would be sculpting. So sculpting, painting, drawing. And I've basically just kind of adapted all of my early learning, traditional learning, to the digital. And I've adapted very well, very quickly. And that's what I'm saying about, artists and AI art bots. If you're an artist, if you're someone who is content creating, don't um don't allow artists to gatekeep art. Art is for everyone, and I believe in that wholeheartedly. Art is for everyone, and I don't think artists are the only arbiters of what and who gets to be an artist. That is just that's how I feel about it. That's my humble opinion. and I will I will fight to the death for that opinion. It's just how I feel about it.
No, and
Art
uh,
is for everyone. Now, the copyright law is pretty cool. The fact that you can't copyright art, that's good. Because that forces artists to transform it. If you transform the work, what you transform is not is your copyright. So what you create with a bot, you can't copyright. It's already copywritten to the bots. Like they own it. You can't say you've made it. It's not human made. So transformative. You have to think transformative. And there's plenty of people out there already making um, long form videos, video essays on YouTube, and they don't even use artists anymore because let's be honest, trying to get art from some of you artists is really like pulling teeth. And some people prefer the less hassle of a robot. That's already been proven with telephones. Back back in the 90s when telephones were really really big and automation, was getting really big, they did lots of surveys and people were like, yeah, we prefer the bots over the people on the phone. And now all you hear is like, God, can't I just get a person?
yeah,
Right?
that is true.
It's a matter of being careful what you wish for, and you know, eh, remember that it's not just about the artists, right? It's there's more artists in the world than just the artists on Twitter crying and whinging about the future being so difficult and hard and how they just can't get attention. You know, God, slap me if I ever make a tweet that's like, uh, disgusting.
So,
I hate it.
so would you say, like, say somebody wants to start out like with art? Do you think it's better to start on pen and paper or digital?
mm, I would say get yourself one of those little mini uh Wacom's. There's I would do both. I would say start small, little Wacom. It's about like maybe $90, $100, and you use this on the desk, and you look at the screen, and you draw on the tablet like that, and you look at the screen while you draw. And there's buttons here on the tablet you can program, much like hotkeys, and there's also hotkeys on the pen too.
Okay, good.
And this is Bluetooth, Wacom, Intuos, small. They also come in medium and large. So if you're gonna go digital, I highly suggest this and a laptop. And a laptop that's gonna run good, you know, have the specs for making, you know, 8K resolution artwork. Okay? Keep that in mind. You
With the-
need to have a GPU and a CPU that's going to run that stuff.
Yeah, because
I
I
need some water real quick.
okay.
What what's the question? What's another question?
No, I was gonna say because that's I had to learn that when I first started learning After Effects, and I know that's like a whole that's a whole nother like can of worms on doing art and putting stuff together and coming up with ideas and everything else. But I had to literally when I first had it, I only had like a low tier GPU. But once I upgraded, I was like, well, I'll try it again. Then I tried it again, and that's when I really realized how much you really could actually pull off with After Effects if you know what you want and you know what you're going for. And I think, well, to be honest, I stopped for really no other reason than just I ended up finding other stuff to do. But I've learned how to do a lot of stuff just off of like watching little bits, I'll say tutorials on how to like say make something chrome, make something emboss, make something emboss, but yet make it light up. And like I think that's why more so I end up like just taking commissions because I just don't like how y'all have the like y'all as artists have the time to do that kind of stuff. I just don't feel like I have the time to really sit down and just okay, I want to learn how to do this. Like full blown, easily and
Well,
every
I don't do commissions.
I know you don't. I'm like
Yeah, I'm at a point now where I'm like, nope, no more commissioning. We're done. We're retired from commissions. I no longer open commissions. I actually pick and choose who I work for, and it's usually pretty okay, you know. It's just how I have always wanted it to be. I'm mainly an artist, but I don't really
no,
I
and
yeah.
it's plenty like that now though. Like seriously.
Well, I treat it like a job instead of like I'm teaching myself all the new things about art. That's why people are like, "Oh, you're so good at art." How do they know that? How do you actually like what about my art makes me good at art in your opinion?
Myself personally, if I'm just gonna answer the question, to me, I just feel like perfect example, your Lunabot right there. I've
My
not
PNG tuber.
yeah, I've not seen that kind of style of drawing. Your PFP on Twitter, I've not seen that kind of style. So I feel like personally you have just like your own style. We'll just call it Luna style for the sake of the conversation and go with it.
Okay. Very descriptive. It's me again. Okay.
Because like
But what makes it unique though?
what makes it unique?
Mhm.
Because you yes, it's just you can look at it and then you can look at you. I think this goes in for me. It goes with okay. They actually have to somewhat know you, have talked to you, interacted with you in some sort of way, had an actual conversation, etc., etc. So
Hmm.
when I sit there and I look at that, and then I think about the art you have done, the darts that you have live streamed, working on, etc. The other stuff you've done for Devious, have done for the maid, who you consider to be your two best friends that you've known forever,
Yep.
and how you call yourself a mommy bot, the Luna bot. That that V2 right there that I'm looking at right now with the tentacles and cell phone in her hand. Even though you sit there and say you're on your tablet more than your phone, that especially with the white hair, I'm not gonna let go of that white hair thing. That just comes off as you. But see, wouldn't nobody understand if I was to say that openly unless they've actually talked to you, interacted with you the way I have, if that makes sense. Because and anybody to tell you this in chat that know me, I speak very, very highly of you behind the scenes. Like everybody knows you're a Twitch partner. I sit there and say, yes, she's a Twitch partner, but she does not fit the norm of what everybody's used to. As far as like social interaction, social media,
Oh
be
yeah, no, I'm one of the rare antisocial partners. on Twitter, on Twitch. It's very hard for people, lone wolves like myself, to become partners. And honestly, it's because of what happened on Mixer. I spent 5 years working on Mixer. I racked up a 20K following over there, and we had like, you know, almost 300 people a night watching. And at some points, at its peak, it was about 600. So we were slowly climbing up. And I was running the art gallery at the time, which I'm still renovating my art gallery. I'm just taking my time with it. I'm taking a different approach this time.
And see that's another thing. And I didn't even say that. I just thought about that when you brought it up. You literally have the only art gallery on freaking Twitch. 24/7 art gallery.
Well,
You were the first one who did
hopefully.
that. You were the first one to do that. Nobody else has done that but you.
Well, I was doing it on Mixer. It didn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're on Twitch or Instagram or wherever. It doesn't. I don't care. I stream on Mixer exclusively. If you'd like me to show your art off, just leave it in the comments below. And people did it all the time. And every once in a while, I'll tap the idea out there on Twitter, and everyone's very responsive to it. So, you know, everyone's interested, and I'm working on things. We're renovating and rebuilding. I'm working on all the scenes for my VTuber stuff, and I'm working on Misery and Devious because I do not want to debut alone. So, I'm technically making all three of our characters and all of our scenes and backgrounds and things for our like our lore, I guess you can call it. I don't really feel like we have much lore because we're just like to play video games and stream together, you know.
Yeah. And I
Misery and I like to play Elite Dangerous, and then Devious and I like to play anything really.
I actually feel like lore is like even myself. I can honestly say coming up with a lore that I would say like fits me was very hard for my OC. To
Well,
where
yeah, yeah.
and you've done, and like you said, everything that you're working on. I personally, me personally, this is my personal opinion. I just don't feel like with all you've done, you don't get the attention you deserve for it. That's my
I
opinion.
haven't shown anything yet. I won't be showing
But
anything
but
until it
but
happens.
but how can no one not appreciate your progress? And
Well,
that's
people do appreciate. Well, for one, it got taken by Mixer going down. So there's
okay.
a lot of my progress is wiped away from the internet. The one thing people care about the most is numbers, and the one place I had the most numbers went down. So
Yeah. Okay. That and that's fine. And I just
I'm lucky I managed to, you know, get over in time and say, "Hey, I'm pretty cool over on Mixer. I've got this many impressions on Twitter. I'd like to bring my community over to Twitch because I really didn't want to go to Facebook.
why
That
what
wasn't an option for me.
why not exactly?
I just don't like Facebook. I never did. I hated Facebook. I liked MySpace, but Facebook always was like this weird, sterile, uncanny valley place for me. Not, I don't know. I don't like it.
No, and
Bad juju.
and that's fair. Just, and just
Don't
like
like Facebook. That's where everyone's mom and grandmom is. It's where all your family members are too. That's where all the despondent sanctum mommies are. My child's better than your child, and this is how you should raise your child, and your children are shit, and my children are the best. That's basically Facebook. That's what I feel like Facebook is.
it's, That's the funny part. It's short. It's part true. That's the funny part. But okay. But and you know, like I don't. Everybody says you should make a TikTok. I don't have one. I won't make one. Anything of the sort. And I've
I have a
personally,
TikTok, but I don't make anything on it.
and I've actually been told like that really will hold me back because I refuse to make a TikTok.
That's like, see, that's like saying you have to go NSFW in order to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I
It's
just
not
don't.
very different.
Yeah, and I just can't. I can't. It's pretty much I just can't because I know I get enough out of Twitter to where I'd rather not see somewhat remotely the same things going on TikTok.
You
Is it
know, the other
avoidable?
thing
Yeah.
you mentioned about not getting attention, I'm actively antisocial. Like I give off the vibes of like I hate people. I hate you guys. I hate everyone.
I mean, again,
And
though, wouldn't that go to say that at the same time, wouldn't that just be saying like, okay,
trust no one.
that too, but wouldn't somebody have to be willing to actually sit there and talk to you, have a conversation with you, get to know you, to understand that that's just not your persona?
Yeah, maybe, but I think the majority of people kind of get this vibe that, you know, they don't want to be around me. It's easy for me to go, oh, they just want to be like me and they're jealous and this and that. But uh, it's not like that. I actively soft block people like all day long. And I actively ignore my DMs and I actively don't post on OnlyFans for months at a time because I don't want to overstimulate my audience. It's like I'm not doing this for money
Yeah.
either. That's another thing. Like the fact that women are selling their bodies for money is fine. I'm okay with this. It's okay. Like it's great. But can we keep it online, please? Can we keep it in line with consenting adults? Thank you very much. Let's not be absolute animals about this. Like, I almost have to say, like, go out there on a limb. Like, I'm a lewd tuber, I'm a model, I'm an artist. Above all things, I'm an artist. But
Hmm.
I don't think I'm a sex worker. I don't have sex with people. I use toys, but that's it. I don't I don't have sex with anybody. I don't meet up. I know there's something going on in the sex industry and where they're like, yeah, support the best support is collabing. And their idea of collaborating creatively is meeting up and fucking. I'm sorry, what? That doesn't sound groomy as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, holy shit. Can you slow your rolls? Like women just got sexually liberated. Can we slow the fuck down a little bit? That's what I'm saying is like if you're a woman out there and you're listening to this, please don't feel like because women are posting their body online for money that you have to do it. Okay? Don't be salty about what other people are doing. Okay? Bitches be hot. Okay? Chill out. Enjoy nature. Well, it's there is what I'm saying. You know, you go outside and you don't go, "Oh, what a fucking stupid flower. How dare it be fucking beautiful like that." Jesus God. You know? Why would you do that to a person? Why would you do that to a person? That's all I'm saying. Okay? Can we just, if you want to be considerate, think about it like that. You know, there's absolutely horrendous things in nature that people come across all the time, and we don't say a fucking thing about it. You know, we just deal with it. And I feel like that's kind of like getting off the subject a little bit, but
No, you're fine. Dude, it's like
don't
it,
do stuff because people are doing it. Do it because you want to do it, and only because you want to do it.
yeah, and I agree with you because I'll tell anybody I'm probably like the most randomest person I know because I can literally wake up and just come up with an idea or play a song and come up with something off the top of my head and decide I want to do something with it just because it won't even have like no simple reasoning to it just because I just want to do it. And whatever interaction it gets, it just gets. I just know I wanted to do it, so I'm gonna do it. Now I will. Let me make sure I say this right. I will say this though, and I'd rather say this with you here. I know you're willing to have that kind of conversation. I I am personally. This goes back to attention. I am kind of personally tired of the quote unquote, like everybody says, find your crowd. I just don't feel like I have a crowd. I don't. I I don't. I just generally don't. And I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. Because I personally tell people all the time, whether it be behind the scenes, whether it be at random or whatever, I appreciate even a minute or even 2 seconds. I do. Because you don't have to do that much. You don't have to click a button. Even though it is, as Ron Lavelle has stated, simple as just taking your mouse and clicking. I personally just don't feel like I have a crowd. But I'm still here doing content with no problem every day. Just about every day. Well, some people would probably argue every day.
Oh, you should have seen the amount of people that just straight up quit when Mixer went down.
I'm, I,
And they lost a lot less than I did.
I just feel like a lot of people don't want to deal with Twitch anymore.
I think that people don't know what they're getting themselves into. And that if they don't like the job, they shouldn't do it. If they can handle the pressure that comes along with these kinds of jobs, don't weasel and snake your way. Don't slither your way into somewhere and dumb it down, is what I think. In a lot of ways. And that's on an individual scale. When we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
groups of people are fucking dumb. The Twitter mob, dumb, dumb, like beyond dumb. You know what I'm saying? You put people in a group, and it is they're dumb. But a person will do, a person, an individual will think and do what is right based off of what, you know, they are going to do. What's good for them, A group doesn't isn't going to stop to think about the individual. They're going to stamp out the individual as much as they can, you know?
Yeah.
And in certain circumstances, you need to do that. There needs to be a balance between the two. And what I'm saying is when there isn't a balance, you know, people need to uh when they're in this kind of job, it's high risk, high reward because it's very much like gambling. Art, do you know why art is it's so easy to launder money in the art galleries? Because art has no intrinsic value. It has no inherent value until someone else puts value on it.
That actually makes sense.
So now you see why it's such a point of contention for artists to be on top of these AI art bots and copyright. They don't care about copyright. They care about art bots making better art than they can, than not keeping up with the industry is what they're afraid of, and they shouldn't be. Any artist worth their weight, it's not gonna matter, you know. I don't really post my art online personally, and I never really have because I knew this day would come.
Really?
But yes, yes, I was there for the debates and conversations in 1994 and 1995 when they were talking about how digital art isn't real art. All the stuff that we do today, normally, that was considered cheating by the majority of the industry.
So you feel like
And
now it's moved on to
it was
AR?
said it was considered so because certain corporations couldn't market it faster than the other corporations could. So when programs like, Photoshop came out, there's a reason Adobe has a chokehold on the art industry to this day. They were the first.
That actually makes sense. Because is there any even another company that comes even close to Adobe? Serious question.
They were the first to provide a subscription as well, which was quite big at the time. At the time, we were all like, "Oh my God, this is so affordable! I love this. This is great." And now, you know, now I got all comfortable with Clip Studio Paint, and then they ripped the free rug out from under my feet, and I was like, "You know what? Fuck you, fuck you. I'm going back to Procreate, bitch."
So so you don't use Adobe at all for anything.
No, I will sometimes renew my license for a month or so just to edit some video, but I don't pay for it all year round. I really hold off until I know I'm going to need to edit video, and then I get Adobe Premiere. But I don't use Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop. Sometimes I will get Adobe uh, Draw, I think it is. I can't remember which one it is. It's one for the iPad, but you can use vector paintbrushes, which is really good for the Twitch emotes.
See, I didn't even know
So
that.
I do use a few, but very rarely. You know, only when I really need to use them. Procreate pretty much works for everything I need it to.
And
It's pretty cool.
you can get like different plugins and stuff for it too.
You can download brushes, you can make your own brushes, you can it's got a whole market where you can make your own brushes and then sell that set of brushes online to people for them to download into their Procreate and use in their projects.
That
It's
that
cool.
that's a lot.
Much like the market on Clip Studio Paint, it's a lot like that where they sell, poses and models and stuff. The cool thing about Clip Studio was that I was learning how to use the 3D models for character creation. They have this 3D model thing where you can figures where you know, you can move them around and put them in poses and stuff and use those poses to make drawings and stuff with. It's pretty good. I like it. I like it. I like it, but I don't like monthly subscriptions. I don't like that. don't like it. I'm already paying. My monthly subscriptions are limited to my entertainment, right? So I paid Twitch Turbo and Twitter Blue is also I put on my taxes as advertisement. So I pay Twitch Turbo so I don't have to watch ads on Twitch, and then I claim it on my taxes at the end of every year as advertisement.
See, I didn't even know you could do that. I did not know that.
It's the business. And this is what I mean by like knowing business. People don't know what they're getting into in this industry. You didn't even know that you could do that with your taxes?
No.
Everyone should be investing into their job in a certain way, and what you invest into it, you can claim on your taxes, and that includes Twitch Turbo, which universally removes ads from Twitch. I will repeat, Twitch Turbo removes ads universally from Twitch. It will totally make your experience on that site 1,000 times better, and we don't have to sell it to Saudi Arabia just to keep it running. I
Hey,
hate being this old.
y'all, mind you, I'm older than her. Okay, let's just say that for the record. I'm older than her. I'm older than her.
By what? A few months?
I got a couple of years on you, Luna. That's hers. I'm 39, dude. I'm knocking
Oh,
on the
yeah,
40.
you do have a couple years. You do have a couple years on me. Fine.
Lord have mercy.
Only a couple. It's just a couple. God.
Devious said, if you could automate one thing in the world, completely remove human interaction from it, what would it be? Because this choice would be RoboCop.
Oh Lord, the DMV. Just get rid of people. Just get rid of them. Those poor people don't need to be working at the DMV all day. They need to build robots for that.
Hey, I don't see how they do it. Like I give them a lot of respect because the stuff they have to deal with, we, mm-mm. And one mistake, they got to redo everything. I didn't know about Twitch Turbo though. I didn't know that was. I just
No
thought,
one does because they'd rather try and. No one knows about Twitch Turbo, but I've been paying for Twitch Turbo all of my streaming career practically for like 8 years. I have 8 years of logs on my bank account of paying for Twitch Turbo.
huh? I did not. I actually did not know that even existed. I was always under the impression you had to subscribe to somebody to get rid of the ads. Dead serious. Like I didn't even know that.
That's what a lot of people think because they want you to subscribe to them instead of pay for Twitch.
I mean, but a lot of people have a problem with giving money to Twitch too.
They have no problem giving the half of their money to Twitch.
That's true.
Most people. That's what a partnership is. I don't know. I don't understand why people think they're owed 90% of something.
Well, see, the
Do
thing,
you?
do do I think they owe 90% of
That's what I
something?
really don't like about Kick.
What, the 90%?
Yeah,
Do you think it's gonna hold? That's my thing.
absolutely not. Did you know that they're paying for Amazon servers to run that site? Kick is being run off of second party Amazon servers. They're literally paying Amazon, Twitch, to run Kick.
So see, how are they
That's
even
why
able to
Kick
do that?
looks like Twitch.
Hmm.
Anybody can sign up uh, on Amazon for a streaming service, to run a streaming service, to create their own streaming service. And that's what Kick is doing. Someone in chat says,
They said that's false. Amazon denied them. I don't know the whole story myself personally. I just know it's a whole big debacle right now between Kick and Twitch, and it's just like I I I have Twitch muted, so a lot of it I don't see, but I've seen some stuff due to other people in regards to Kick versus Twitch, and apparently, Kick is letting a lot of stuff be deemed okay that Twitch doesn't. I don't know how it is as of today, but the last time
like gambling, which in my opinion is worse than like lewd stuff. I don't understand why people are pissed off at tits when gambling and is an awful addiction. You
yeah,
know?
gambling is an addiction. This is coming from somebody who actually does DraftKings once in a while. So yeah, I can see why gambling is worse. But I don't. Do you still deem Twitch better to Kick as of right now?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But here's my question to you, Luna. As a Twitch partner, what do you think Twitch needs to do to get better? Because clearly people are leaving.
Well, people need to pay for things and stop being, you know, selfish.
What do you mean by like pay for? Do you mean like the servers or contribute, whatnot?
Well, in a sense, Twitch Turbo. I think, but it's kind of it's one of those things. Like a lot of people are just kind of out for themselves in this industry, and people like me don't get a lot of attention because we snap at everyone that even tries to get close to us because we know all the fucking tricks, and we'd rather not.
I-
you know
I-
I also don't have this desire to be famous, and I like to put myself out there and be like a bioluminescent creature, or like a firefly that is just lighting up and stuff in the night. That's what I like to be, like to shine and glow, and let
with
other people shine and glow around me. I like that too, but I don't really have this desire to be famous, and I'm not really doing it for attention. I'm getting the attention I need somewhere else, for sure. And I think that's where a lot of these OnlyFans girls go wrong too, is they are doing something they don't want to do for all maybe they're doing something they want to do for all the wrong reasons, you know? When you remove the intimacy part of sex, it can really it can psychologically do stuff to people. It can make them act weird, and then they don't know how to act in front of women. I've seen that women don't know how to act in front of certain men, and it's on both sides of the spectrum for sure.
yeah.
It's a lot of awkward people out there that don't already have a pretty hard time with uh confronting the fact that our nature requires sex. Like we need to have sex to procreate and keep the human race going biologically.
Uh,
It's very important. It's a I would say a biological imperative to procreate, and you need to have sex to do that. And there's something very educational about it, I would say, too, I would argue. But I do understand why women feel the way they feel about it. It is the only thing people care about is our body. It's so much so that people can't even say what a woman is. You can't even. You're not even allowed to define a woman anymore. Or you're hateful. You're a hateful murderer. Isn't
That's
that fucking
actually
weird?
that's
Isn't that
actually
just
true.
fucked up?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Eh, That and that's true. Like, and I've told anybody, I've told several people, it's like to the point where me and several others brought up the topic of it the other day. Actually, it's getting to where like me even simply complimenting you is like bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
I know you don't care,
I
but
do see a lot of young OnlyFans girls. They'll will get mad at young men for sexualizing them, and there's something to be said on both sides of the argument. I think that these young girls just don't know how to articulate. Like, nobody wants to be put in a box, right?
yeah,
Nobody wants to be put in this box and treated the same way all the time, right? So, like, when you go to your job and say you work at a gas station, you don't want all your friends to be like, "Hey, where's the gas at?" You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I get what
You
you're
want
saying.
people to treat you like a person, not, a commodity all the time. If that's your job, then that's your job. Nobody's, running around hitting on you all the time because you work at a gas station, and that's what I'm saying. It's like
Hmm.
there's a time and a place for things, and these girls really do not know how to articulate it. They just wind up getting mad and lashing out. And they wind up being hypocrites about this because it's they are we are, in a way, I do this too, objectifying ourselves. That's what we do. I use my body to express my art and my emotions and things like that, or what have you. And other people do it for different reasons, for money, and that's fine too. It's okay. It's all okay as long as that's what you want to do, right?
Yeah,
As long as you want to do it. That's what's really fucking super important, is to not do things that you would make you resent yourself. If you find yourself not liking something, that's a sign, I would say, for sure. Listen to your gut, and don't be mad because other people do it either. Other people do what they're doing. There's been a long time conversation in the streaming industry, particularly about titty streamers and things like that. And everybody has their own demographic. The audience that I cater to as an NSFW artist is not the same audience I cater to when I'm streaming on Twitch. I can promise you that. And because I've been streaming for so long, I have learned how to herd and shepherd and corral these particular audiences into the particular spots I want them to be in. And I don't need a fucking million of them. Okay?
yeah.
4,000 is quite enough. Thank you. I don't understand why everyone's so fucking greedy. I'm serious. I don't understand why everyone's so greedy with people, right? They see numbers and that's all they care about. But you have to understand that if there's just 5 people around you, that's quite a big deal. That is a support system. Those are the people you can, try and maybe reach out to or whatever. Keep an eye on this and that. It's eyes, it's feedback you can be getting, things like that.
Yeah,
Never underestimate the power of a few people. It's amazing what a few people can do when they work together on something. And it's just a matter of working together and finding the right people, right? It's not finding your crowd. I would say that it's more about um be a bartender. Think about what it's like being a bartender and how many different people you come across, and you have to entertain them and serve them and and give them what they require and this and that and blah blah blah, make sure they're not going overboard or this whatever. You're a moderator of some sort. And
Yeah.
I use bartender as an example because they're very social as well. A good bartender is a bartender that knows how to talk to anybody. I like to bring up Joe Rogan as an example because he can really talk to just like about just about anybody. He can have anybody on his show and have a conversation with them and it be an engaging, enlightening conversation. So, somebody like that, I often encourage people to think like that. Like, just think about being a post for people sometimes. Doesn't always have to be this hype, crazy, over the top spectacle when you stream. Ordinary streaming, normalize it. Normalize just turning the fucking camera on sometimes and washing your face and saying, I'm washing my face right now. And just get used to doing things. And it'll become second nature eventually. Just like riding a bike, just like painting on canvas, just like learning art programs. You do the beginning days are always the hardest, but eventually, the more you do it, a little bit every day, becomes second nature. And you'll know yourself too. Like, know the business, know yourself, and make sure it's something you want to do. Because believe you me, you will be objectified. You will, and you have to be okay with that. You have got to have a thick skin if you're going to do any kind of NSW work because people are degenerized. We are, I am too. I know how to separate it, okay? But maybe a lot of other people don't. And there's something to be said about those people. We have to keep certain people in check. I think it's important for us all to do that. But anyway,
I've
you know,
and you know, you even like I'll say it openly. She's even came after me about some stuff I've said and corrected me. I sat there and I took it. I had no choice because if you're right, you're right. But I'm gonna make sure she knows that she's right. And I tell people this, and I feel like, and I will continue to say this till I'm blue in the face. I do generally feel like a lot of acknowledgement for what some people do for other people does not get told and does not get said. It should be said, especially when there's a I don't want to use the word standard. When there's a cloud, let's go with that. There's a cloud over said person because of whatever reason when they don't really know much. Like yourself. That's why I told you, like, behind the scenes, anybody can tell you I speak highly of you.
well,
Like,
that's nice. I like that. That's that's rare for people to do in this industry is
and I
you
find,
know,
and I,
you talk good about somebody when they're not around. That's how you support people. Not meeting up and fucking. I don't know, understand what the hell people are thinking. That's not it though. Okay? Meeting up is fun, collabing is fun, but you do not need to be swapping human juices to collaborate as a creator online, okay? Especially as an NSFW person, I highly recommend and encourage you to not rush into meetups. Okay, it all seems glorious and fun on the outside, but that stuff can get away with you really fucking quick. Okay.
we,
I have seen family members go, "Oh well, it's just a modeling career, honey," and the next thing you know, sister's upside down on a couch. Bitch has got to eat. That's not a job you want to get stuck doing. You only always ever want to do something like this for pleasure. once you remove the intimacy from this, it becomes a prison. You become a slave to it. And that's what I am very concerned about with a lot of young women doing OnlyFans. I do it. I'm on OnlyFans, but I don't require it to survive. And um, that's something that I'm really worried about personally. Is young women like taking this newly found sexual, we've only been sexually liberated for maybe a couple decades at this point, and women aren't, we have a long way to go with um, bringing men up to speed with
Mhm.
that sexual liberation, and bringing everyone else who isn't a man and a woman up to speed, because they're trying to pass laws right now that totally overwrite all these laws women have fought for, and it's getting messy. It's getting messy. It's getting messy. And I don't really like to talk politics because I like having friends. And if there's one thing I have learned about politics is once you start getting into the nitty-gritty of who deserves what, it's always a point of contention. It always makes things go really bad. So I've really learned to be diplomatic in the way I speak to people. And I think that's another thing that really helps me just have a conversation with anybody, is being open to the ideas of other people. It's really important to do that. You don't have to agree with someone, and you don't have to tell them you disagree. You can literally go, "Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, wow." You know? You can really make them think, like you really get what they're saying, but inside you go, "Wow, what a nutter." Like there's some things we just keep to ourselves sometimes because that's the diplomatic thing to do. We're not trying to omit or lie. It's just sometimes that's the easier copacetic thing to do in this industry. People, you can set somebody off, and the next thing you know, they're steamrolling you, and you've lost control, and this and that, and or you lose your own emotion. I've often lost my control of my own emotions, which has been a long journey to learn. That's something as well I've heard from a lot of streamers over the years. I would look, a lot of VTubers especially will tell me, I just hate how just get so emotional on camera and stuff. And VTubing, I just never get like that. I'm just so comfortable VTubing. And there's something to be said psychologically about that. Um, Putting on a mask, being a cartoon for a little bit, and just playing virtual dress up.
Yeah.
It's therapeutic. I think it's extremely cathartic for people to try something new, live a different life for a little while. It gives you perspective and allows you insight into a life you may not have ever known about before or whatever. Who knows? That's why online I say keep it all online, and then, in real life, focus on real life stuff. Focus on your family, focus on your friends, focus on your local politics, because that's where really all that stuff is going to matter. You're not really going to make much political change online, unfortunately. I wish it weren't so. I wish that we, actually thinking about how crazy and dumb the Twitter mob is, I'm really glad that it's not the case.
Oh boy.
I'm really glad that it's not the case that the powers that be have deemed it so that the Twitter mob is not the arbiter of justice and truth.
I mean, they still kind of go around mob with that mob mentality though and cancel people too. But that's a whole nother
I think
conversation.
that's also part of human nature. I think there will always be people in the world who act and do these things, you know?
Yeah, but
I'm quite in between things because people go, "Well, you're on OnlyFans too." And it's like they think they're disarming me, but they're only proving the point that it's not something you need to do for money. There are many, 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 many other things for women to do, especially today,
Yeah,
than there have ever been in all of human history for women to do. It's never been better for women, especially in the US. Um, you know?
yeah.
And I would argue to say that women have it so good that they're just a lot of them really literally willing to just hand over what it is to be a woman. I find it funny that it's not a choice to be gay. It's not a choice to be trans. It's not a choice to be a lesbian or anything like that, but it's a choice to be a woman. You can choose to do that.
That I'm you, you the woman, you would know, Luna. Honestly.
Oh. Oh. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just asking questions here because I don't fucking know either. I'm fucking confused at this point. I don't know what the hell is up or down or whatever. You know what I mean? All I know is that there's there's two people in the world. There's people who can get pregnant and people who cannot get pregnant, and we need to definitely protect the people who can get pregnant. Specifically because they can get pregnant, right? And that's the context I will stick it around because that's where it belongs. And
Yeah.
that's the only place it belongs. So, yeah,
And
I don't know.
no, I mean,
I'm about as confused as a squirrel on a lot of these topics. It changes every day. The definitions of shit changes like every 5 minutes.
I,
Have you
I tell
seen
y'all that.
Twitter?
I tell people that all the time, Luna. I tell them.
Twitter is wild this month. It's like winter ended and Twitter just blew its fucking lid off, right? It's like driving after the rain. Now that the rain's gone, everybody's driving like a maniac.
Um, boy, don't come to Mississippi then. You won't like it here. They really act like they can't drive. Mm-mm.
I hear that about everywhere. Everywhere is like people can't drive. Hmm.
Well, see,
Is there any more questions?
that that was that. Honestly, everybody else literally gave their opinion on what you had to say. I told you, Luna. I was letting you, giving you the platform, and then you be LunaLaVinci. Also, she is the creator and owner of LaVinci Industries. Don't ask me why I said that. I just find the name that she created for that to be so fucking awesome. It's not even funny. It just,
The LaVinci Industries.
yeah, that's fucking phenomenal. No joke.
I've read a lot of sci-fi. I like sci-fi if you can't tell. Sci-fi and horror are like my main deal. I was raised on horror and Star Trek basically.
Mm,
And video games. I've always had video games too.
that's true.
For the most part. There were lulls. There were some technological lulls. I did go 6 years without like any technology after high school, which was really difficult. I had this one little smartphone that was a track phone. You pay as you go. Do you
Yeah,
remember this?
yeah. I know from yeah.
It was one of the first like touch screen track phones you could buy, and I would watch people play complete walkthroughs of video games on YouTube with this track phone while I was homeless
Mm,
back in like 2008, 2009.
you actually probably was um doing that around the same time I was. Cause you remember that mirror phone? the incognito, I think it was called, where if you held it in, it was a it was you could flip it open and then you held it, but when you held it, you could see yourself. But if you clicked on it, the the buttons would come light up, and that was the only like it was the way of unlocking the phone. But other than that, it was a mirror. I would have to show you that because if I showed it to you, you would know what phone I'm talking about.
Maybe, yeah. You might have to show it to me because
Yeah,
I'm
it was a legit mirror phone.
not picturing it.
Yep, it was a mirror phone. About it was rectangular. When you opened it, you had a whole keypad. Then you had the screen itself. But if you close it, it was a legit mirror. Yep.
Hmm.
I want to say it was called the incognito. I'm pretty sure because I used to have to use that phone when I was homeless, just like keep up to date with everything going on and everything else. So keep my sanity, of course. But that that whole era, that was probably around 2007 2008. I want to say I had to like really relook it up, but I was back in California then too. It's been some years. It's,
Yeah. See, I've hit real rock bottom, and I guess that's why when Mixer went down, it didn't really it had an effect on me, but I had some good support around me. Devious especially was like, so well, so I'll go live and you know, he just went into fix it mode immediately, and because of that, we wound up streaming. And while we were streaming, somebody stopped in and was like, "Hey, here's the link. Go fill out the application for Twitch Partner. They're, I think, opening for right now so that, people on Mixer can be taken care of." So I did. I went and it worked. Literally, like 2 days later, I was a Twitch partner.
but you went for a while at first though without even going partner. I remember that too. When you first,
I did back before I moved to Beam. So before Mixer was Mixer, it was Beam. And then before I was on Beam, I was on Twitch. And I had left Twitch for Beam because I was like these people on Kick right now, all Twitter pated and didn't know what the industry was like. Now I know. Now
y'all
I know.
keep in mind a lot of my voice acting stuff, equipment, stuff like that really came from her and Devious. A lot of people actually don't know that. Like I had to adjust my audio so many times. So
Oh
many
dear,
times.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember. Devious actually fixed help you fix most of
Yeah,
that. That was mostly him.
yeah.
Yeah. He helps me with my audio too when it goes on the fritz. He's really good with that stuff.
Yes, he is. Y'all, y'all know how I used to sound. Yeah, that
Yeah, I remember.
I sat with them too, and we got that. I had to get that sorted out. Like I couldn't do. I wouldn't be here, voice acting and everything else, if it wasn't for them. This devious guy sounds pretty cool and handsome too. It probably smells real nice. Don't worry, devious. I still owe you dinner, so don't worry about that. I'll get you away from Luna one day. Today ain't that day, and probably ain't gonna be tomorrow either. You see how she looking
We
at
are
me?
rather inseparable. You might have to get us both a coffee.
I might as well just choke that one up and just do it. Nah,
Yeah,
but
you might have to.
seriously though, Luna, where can these lovely people find you?
They can find, well, if you know, I have a safe for work account, so if you're not into like, looking at naked chicks doing naked stuff, don't follow my Twitter. I have a LunaBot account, which, you can find on my Twitch if you would like. You can go to my Twitch channel and all my safe for work stuff is there. And the safe for work Twitter is attached to it. So is that. And if you want to follow me, I'm very horny on main, so you're gonna have to. I've
Holy
some of
fuck,
weird face
Luna!
of humor. Okay. What?
Wow.
It's
Just
a fair warning.
th-
Okay. Follow, like, and subscribe. Okay. Like, follow, like. Okay, wait, no. You have to
yeah.
subscribe, like, and comment below on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay. How blue is the sky where you're at? Comments. Scale of
That
1 to
too.
10.
Y'all, there's a reason. I will say this again. There's a reason why I hype her up. It's probably the one of my top, probably in the literally top three favorite women content creators. There's a reason why.
You're
I
gonna make me blush. My
oh,
gosh.
I told you for this started, you were gonna hear a lot of praise out of me openly about you. I told her this beforehand. Cause
See, I mostly get yes, queen, slay. That's my compliment. I love you. It's usually not so in depth. Go on.
uh, y'all, she's literally like, and I tell people this, Luna is literally probably like one of the few women I have met who literally does what she does, but she stays herself. She doesn't sugarcoat, doesn't mess around. She stays herself. She enjoys herself. She enjoys people around her. She's willing to talk to you, long as you're respectful to her. She's
I mean,
gonna
you don't even
answer.
have to be all that respectful.
You
Once
know,
you start fucking disrespecting my friends, though, then then we got problems.
yeah. There's a reason why I call her the Twitch partner that isn't a normal Twitch partner. Like,
That is weird. I don't know. I often don't feel like a Twitch partner myself, I guess.
and
That's
then,
just because of the circumstances I got, the partnership, I guess, suppose.
but seriously, y'all, do give her a like, comment,
Oh,
follow, all that good jazz. Also, praise her mommy bot. That VTube thing is fucking phenomenal. And all hail to her white hair. I said that. Seriously. Like, there's not too many people can do white hair like her. Do you see that shit? Look at her hair, bro. That hair is fucking OP. Look at her hair, bro.
is it?
You can't say no to that. Like that's just fucking awesome, bro. I'm not
It's
lying.
very anime,
Mm,
isn't it?
that too. I wish
Waifu AF.
Devious, come get him, man. Devious. Devious, come get him, man. Hey, but seriously though, y'all, thank y'all for checking this out. This has been another edition of Coffee and Conversation. That's LunaLaVinci, Mommy Bot, VTuber, artist, Twitch partner, Dark Riddler, y'all. I thank y'all for real for checking this out. And I'm glad
Thanks
I
for
was,
having me.
oh, always, anytime. I'm gonna get devious soon. Um, y'all have a
Oh,
good,
I can't wait for that one.
y'all take care of each other. Stay out of bad trouble now. We out of here, y'all. Till next time.